The rain streaked down the window of my Portland apartment, a soft patter against the glass that matched the dull ache in my chest. I was sprawled across the couch, my laptop open on my lap, its screen dimming from neglect. My eyes weren't on it, though they were locked on my phone, where a single text message glowed like a spotlight in the dark. It was from my younger brother Ethan, who just finished his 2-year stint in the Air Force, stationed halfway across the world in a dusty base in Kuwait. Hey Ellie. Just a heads up so you're not blindsided. The guest list for my welcome home party is locked in. Space is tight, so we had to trim it down. Hope you get it. I read it again, then a third time, waiting for the punchline. Maybe a follow-up text. Kidding. You're top of the list. But the screen stayed silent, Ethan's words hanging there, cold and final. My thumb hovered over the keyboard, itching to type something back, anger, hurt, a plea, but I couldn't. My chest felt like it had caved in. Not with a loud crash, but with a quiet, heavy thud, like a stone sinking into a still lake. Ethan, my little brother. The kid I'd sent care packages, toe boxes stuffed with his favorite beef jerky, handwritten notes, and those awful energy drinks he loved, mailed all the way to the Middle East. The one I'd stayed up for, bleary-eyed at 3 a.m. Pacific time, just to hear his voice crack over a shaky Skype call when the homesickness hit him hardest. I'd been his anchor when our parents were too wrapped up in their own lives, Dad with his auto shop, Mom with her endless charity luncheons. Don't notice how lost he'd been out there. And now, for his big homecoming, I was the one cut from the roster. No explanation, no apology, just, hope you get it. I scrolled through Instagram and there it was. Ethan's post, a screenshot of the guest list. 82 names. Cousins I hadn't seen since I was 10, high school buddies he'd barely kept in touch with, even some random coworkers from his summer job at the hardware store before he enlisted. But not me. Not Eleanor Jane Carver, his big sister. The one who'd driven him to the recruitment office at dawn, who'd cried in the parking lot after he boarded the bus, who designed the sleek "Welcome Home" Ethan banner for free because his fiancée, Sophie, said she wanted it classy. The phone slipped from my hand onto the cushion, and I stood, pacing the hardwood floor of my tiny living room. My reflection flickered in the rain-smeared window, dark hair pulled into a messy bun, eyes red-rimmed but dry. I wasn't crying. Not yet. I grabbed my coffee mug, the dregs cold and bitter, and called Dad. He picked up on the third ring, his voice gravelly but warm like always. Hey Ellybug, what's up? Did you know? I didn't bother with small talk. Ethan texted me. I'm not invited to his party. Did you know about this? A pause stretched across the line, then a sigh. Dad's signature move when he wanted to dodge the hard stuff. Ellie, don't make a mountain out of this. It's just a little shindig. The venue's small, you know how it is. They had to make cuts. Cuts. My voice stayed even, but it felt like I was swallowing glass. Dad, I saw the list. 82 people. Third cousins, his old baseball coach, some girl he met at a bar last summer. And I'm the one who doesn't fit. He cleared his throat, awkward and fumbling. People RSVP'd early, Han. It's tough to univoi folks once it's set. Don't take it personal. Don't take it personal? I gripped the phone so hard my knuckles ached. I was the one who talked him off the ledge when he wanted to quit basic training. I sent him money when his truck broke down in Kuwait. I helped Sophie plan every detail of their engagement dinner. And now there's no room for me. Ellie, you're blowing this up, he said, his tone sharpening. It's one night. Don't turn it into a soap opera. I didn't answer. My pulse thudded in my ears, a warning that something inside me was splintering. I hung up, my hand trembling, and stared at Ethan's text again. No, sorry. No, I fought for you. Just a casual shrug, like I was some distant acquaintance he could brush off. I sank back onto the couch, scrolling through old messages from Ethan. Ellie, you're the best sister ever. He typed when I overnight him a pair of boots after his got wrecked in a sandstorm. Couldn't have made it without you, he'd said after I talked him through a panic attack during his first deployment. Heart emojis, promises of a big hug when he got home. Lies apparently. I set the phone down and walked to the window. The sky was a bruise of gray, the city lights smudging into the rain. My chest felt like it was sivawaying under a weight I couldn't name, not anger, not yet, but something deeper. Betrayal maybe. Or the slow realization that I'd spent years pouring myself into people who didn't see me. The next morning, I woke to a text from Sophie. Ellie, I know Ethan told you about the party. I was shocked you weren't on the list too, but please don't take it to heart. He just didn't want it to get too crowded. Crowded. Like I was some loud, clumsy extra who'd ruin the VYB. I didn't reply. Instead, I opened my laptop and pulled up a USB drive labeled, Ethan's stuff. There it was, the welcome home banner file. Hours of work tweaking fonts and colors because Sophie wanted it perfect. No one had thanked me. I told myself it didn't matter if Ethan was happy, that was enough. Now it felt like a slap. I remembered the late nights, the sacrifices. When Ethan's car died overseas, I'd Venmo'd him $600 without a second thought. When Mom forgot his first deployment checklist, I'd raced across town to find the right duffel bag, printed the regulations and driven him to the base at 4 a.m. I'd been the glue, the fixer, the one who never said no. And now? Now I was expendable. My phone buzzed again. Dad. Ellie, don't overthink this. It's not worth the fuss. No drama. Like I was the storm they needed to avoid. I laughed, a sharp, hollow sound, and tossed the phone onto the table. That's when I saw it. A travel ad on my laptop screen. Escape to Montana, winter cabins at Glacier Ridge. Snow-dusted peaks, a cozy lodge by a frozen river. A promise of quiet. I clicked, my heart thudding with something new. Defiance, maybe. If they didn't want me there, I wouldn't wait around to be missed. I'd write my own story. I booked it that night. A first-class flight to Bozeman, a private cabin at Glacier Ridge, a week of skiing and solitude. No economy seats, no skimping. I'd spent years spending on others' flights home for Mom's surgeries, bills for Dad's shop. This time the money was for me. I packed my suitcase, digging out the parka and snow boots I bought last winter but never worn. The sting of Ethan's text still burned, but it was fading under a new resolve. I wasn't just running away, I was running toward something. Friday morning I stood in the Portland airport, a latte warming my hands as I watched planes taxi through the drizzle. The first-class lounge was a world apart, plush seats, free pastries, no crying babies. I boarded early, sinking into a wide seat with a glass of orange juice from a smiling flight attendant. For once I felt seen, not in VY Cybele. The flight was smooth, the Montana landscape unfolding below like a painting, jagged peaks, endless white, a place where no one knew my name. At Bozeman, the air bit my cheeks as I stepped off the plane. A driver named Cal, a grizzled guy with a gray beard and an easy grin, met me at baggage claim. Glacier Ridge, huh? First time? He asked, tossing my suitcase into his truck. Yeah, I said, climbing in. Heard it's quiet. Quiet's an understatement. He chuckled, pulling onto the icy road. Folks come here to lose themselves or find themselves, depending. What's your story? I hesitated, then shrugged. Maybe a little of both. The drive wound through pine forests, snow piling high on either side. When we reached Glacier Ridge, my breath caught. The lodge was a masterpiece of timber and stone, smoke curling from its chimney, cabins dotting the hillside like jewels in the snow. The receptionist, a woman named Mara with a braid and a kind smile, handed me a key and a glass of mulled wine. Welcome, Eleanor. Your cabin's ready. Enjoy. The cabin was perfection. A stone fireplace already crackling, a bed piled with quilts, a wall of windows overlooking a frozen river. I dropped my bag, sank onto the rug, and let the wine warm my hands. No buzzing phone, no guilt trips, just silence. I opened Instagram and posted a photo of the VYEW, captioning it, "If I'm not on your list, I'll make my own." I scheduled it for 7 p.m., right when Ethan's party would kick off. Let them see I wasn't sulking, I was thriving. The messages started rolling in as soon as it went live. Mom. Eleanor, what's this about? Don't let your feelings push you away. We wanted you here. Dad. This is Ethan's night, not a stage for your drama. Ethan. Really, Ellie? Posting that for everyone to judge me. Sophie. Ellie, I hate seeing you hurt, but this just makes it harder for Ethan. Please don't escalate. I laughed, sipping my wine as the fire popped. Escalation? I wasn't the one who'd drawn the line, they were just mad I'd stepped over it. The next morning I posted again. A shot of pancakes and coffee by the window, captioned, "Fresh snow, hot coffee, and no one owns my peace." Aunt Claire called an hour later, her voice syrupy with concern. Ellie, honey, you don't need to air this online. People will think you're turning on us. Come home, talk it out. We'll fix it. Fix it. Like I was the broken piece. I didn't answer, just let her ramble into voicemail. No one asked why I'd been excluded. No one cared that I'd been erased. They just wanted me to play nice. But then came the twist. That night, as I soaked in the cabin's hot tub, steam rising into the frigid air, my phone lit up with a call from my cousin Tara, the only family member I still trusted. A no-nonsense nurse who'd always stayed out of the fray. I answered, bracing for more lectures. Instead, her voice was electric. Ellie, you're not gonna believe this. Sophie walked out on Ethan at the party, threw a glass of lemonade in his face and stormed off. I nearly dropped the phone into the water. What? Yeah, Tara said, barely containing a laugh. Ethan was flirting with his ex, Katie Wells, you remember her, the clingy one from junior year? Sophie caught him by the patio and she lost it. Screamed, I should have known you'd never grow up, and drenched him. Then he punched a wall, broke his hand. Ambulance came, mom's bawling, dad's yelling. It's a mess. I climbed out of the tub, wrapping a towel around me as Tara kept going. And Uncle Ray, know the loudmouth from Boise? He got plastered and fell into the dessert table. Smashed the cake. But the kicker? Grandma. She marched up to Ethan, pointed her cane at him and said, You're reaping what you sowed, boy. Cutting out Ellie. The one who held you together, you'll feel that loss more than you know. Then she left. Mic drop. I sank onto a chair by the outdoor fire pit, snow dusting my shoulders. Grandma, the peacemaker, calling Ethan out? I couldn't picture it, but it hit me like a freight train. Tara laughed. You weren't even there, Ellie, and you stole the show. They're falling apart without you. Ethan texted an hour later. If you'd been here, none of this would have happened. Mom followed. Ellie, stop being selfish. Ethan's a wreck, and we're cleaning up your mess. Dad's voicemail. Your mom's crying, Ethan's hurt, grow up and come home. Sophie. Ellie, I'm a mess. Please talk to Ethan, just calm him down. I stared at the screen, my jaw tight. They weren't sorry, they were scared. Scared because I wasn't there to fix it, to smooth the edges, to take the blame. I didn't reply. Instead, I typed a note to myself. Not being there doesn't mean I broke it. Then I muted them all, Ethan, Mom, Dad, the whole group chat. I poured a mug of tea, opened the window, and let the pine-scented breeze wash over me. They'd made their mess. I wasn't their janitor anymore. The next day I hit the slopes. My instructor, Jake, was a lanky guy with a crooked grin and a knack for patience. Lean into it, Eleanor, he said as I wobbled on my skis. Don't fight the hill, just trust it. I fell twice, snow soaking my gloves, but I laughed harder than I had in months. That afternoon I joined a snowshoe hike with a couple from Denver, Paul and Lena, who'd come to Glacier Ridge to escape their own family chaos. Sometimes you gotta leave to find your footing, Paul said, nodding at the trail we'd carved. I smiled. He got it. Nights at the lodge bar became my ritual, wine by the fire, stories from strangers. Jake joined one evening, regaling us with tales of his worst wipeouts. No one asked why I was alone, and I didn't volunteer it. For the first time, I wasn't defined by my family's needs. I was just Ellie, the woman who could laugh without looking over her shoulder. A week in, I sat by the cabin window journaling. Freedom isn't Leah Vwine Jits refusing to go back to what cuts you. I posted a photo of the river captioned, I didn't vanish, I found where I fit. Comments trickled in from old friends, coworkers. You're glowing, Ellie. This is badass. Strangers saw me when my own blood couldn't. Then Tara texted again. Mom's planning a family meeting next week. You're the guest of Honoraka, they want you back to play referee. Heads up. I smirked, sipping wine as the sun dipped below the peaks. A trap dressed as reconciliation. I replied. Too busy levying. They can sort it out. I flipped my phone over and left it there. Days blurred into a rhythm, skiing, hiking, reading by the fire. I stopped checking my phone, stopped bracing for guilt. One morning I asked Mara at the desk, can I extend my stay? She grinned. Cabin's yours for another week. You're not the first to fall for this place. I nodded. I wasn't running, I just didn't want to leave. The night before my original departure, I sat on the balcony, coffee steaming in the dawn light. The mountains loomed steady and silent, witnesses to my unraveling and remaking. I'd spent years being the good sister, the dutiful daughter, the invisible glue. But here in the cold and quiet, I'd found something better me. Not Eleanor the fixer, but Ellie, the woman who could breathe without apology. When I finally flew home, it wasn't to fix anything. I landed in Portland with a tan from the slopes and a heart too full to bend. Ethan called a week later, voice small. Ellie, I messed up. Can we talk? I paused, then said, maybe someday. But not today. I hung up, opened my window, and let the rain wash in. I wasn't their shadow anymore. I was my own light.